Anthony, welcome to Chad TV. How are you?
I'm good, man.
You're good? Awesome, bro. It's week 5. Catch us up to speed. What happened this week?
A lot. A lot. Shit, dude. Every time we sit down, I just forget. I know a lot happened, though.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, let me think. Let me reflect for a minute. Today was, like, super eventful. We made, like, 4 songs today. And now we're doing this, and it's, like, 10:30, and then we're going to go to the gym. Shit, what else happened this week? Made new sales job, kind of is alright. It's alright. It's going. We got that going on. We lifted a couple times, had some really good sessions. Lifting with the boys is always fun. Now we got the squad, me and Voyak be out fucking mogging around. And yeah, that's I don't have any big updates that I could think of.
Okay, cool. So, going into this week, we're about to start it off pretty strong. Why don't you tell everyone what we're going to do tonight?
We're going to lift tonight instead of lifting tomorrow.
What time is it?
It's 10:30 right now, so we'll probably get there at like 12. We never really do that. So, yeah, that'll be a fun experiment. I think it'll be good shit. We'll go to a different gym too. Oh, we could go to that fucking Grove and just fucking walk in.
Yeah, nobody would be there.
Could do that too. I don't know, maybe.
All right. Cool. So, to everybody out there watching, you got to imagine that they might have seen this a couple times. Maybe they've never seen one before. To the people who haven't seen them before, give a brief introduction and rundown. I feel like we should be doing this. Who we are, what we're doing.
So you want me to tell them not what Chad TV is, or like what the fuck we got going on?
Both.
Shit. So, yeah, sorry, this one's pretty dead. We never shoot this late. I'm like cooked right now. But Chad Rammers TV came up with this idea because I'm a big fan of DJ Vlad. I watch a lot of his interviews. And if you see the style, the way they conduct interviews, I mean, they've been doing it for over a decade. They're super successful. They always have like really interesting guests on. And they don't do fucking podcasts. They do interviews like this where one guy's here, you know, in front of the camera and Vlad's behind, but they're having a back and forth. And he always asks them like questions that they wouldn't be asked on any other platform. Like it's like you get the real story, and it's just really interesting. And so I always put Adam onto that, like good ones, and Adam started watching his own. So we have a nice little studio set up. So I'm like, yo, we got to just start doing this. And we're going to document our journey every week so we can look back on this a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, however long we do this. But then I also want to get the homies on here as well that are directly correlated, like they're primary characters in our life, in our sitcom right now, of me and Adam being on the grind. And so, you know, it's fun. It's been a lot of fun. So that's what this is. And then what me and Adam are doing specifically right now is we're getting it out the mud still. So we're building a business. We're building a marketing agency. We're both entrepreneurs. We both do not have any type of traditional job or income. Everything is purely, you know, from entrepreneurship, everything that we do, right? So hustling. We're both lifting together now, which is cool. And we're both making music and doing creative pursuits. And we're trying to just elevate it all at the same time. And we want to document it on this. So does that tie it together?
That's more than enough context. I think that was perfect. So, fun side note before we move into something else about us. Do you have a favorite Vlad TV interview?
I'd like to say I should watch more of them. Akon, he did a couple with Akon. They're pretty crazy. The one he did with Akon where Akon has the white hat on. I didn't know this shit about Akon. He had like I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but he talked about the whole story of like him coming up. Like he's from Africa. Now he's, you know, he was a career criminal, started a carjacking ring in like New Jersey and was making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. And then he got into like music somehow. And now he has his own city in Africa, and he has a $1 billion credit line with China, and he's like a philanthropist, and it's just a really crazy story. So yeah, you should watch that. That's a cool one.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about what we're doing this week to give more context on it like we did. Why do you personally feel like somebody who either sort of knows us or even doesn't know us, maybe they just know you online, why do you think that they would want to watch this? Like, what would they actually get out of it? Or are you just doing this for yourself? Because maybe they don't get anything.
It's both. We're definitely doing it for ourselves. I talked about that last week. This is fun. This is like, we look forward to this every week. It's super fun. I think there's multiple things that you can get out of this. If you're like somebody who's maybe like a younger kid than us that like watches us or watches us make music, hopefully you can get some inspiration or motivation from this. I also think this is really unique to watch as our friend because, you know, we're answering deeper questions and maybe you could see a side of us or learn a little bit more about our mindset that we wouldn't typically have in a regular conversation with our friends. And also, like, this is super raw. Like, it's not fucking curated content to sell something, but it's set up super properly and it's unique in my opinion. So, I think it's cool for people to watch this every week and just get a piece of Ant, a piece of Adam, a piece of whoever else.
Who are you watching right now if you do watch any kind of YouTube content or people that talk on camera?
Right now, I've been watching, well, actually, like, I kind of toned it down, but most recently, I was watching a lot of Adonis Bjornsson and this dude Wade Houston, but that was like 2-3 weeks ago. I was heavy into them. I had a call with Adonis. It was like $100. That was cool. He's a cool guy. He's from actually Pennsylvania, and he lives somewhere else.
What do they do without going too much into it?
They're personal development, mentors, and I just resonate a lot with their stories and their message. And just wanted to have the opportunity to speak with at least Adonis. So, I was watching this week. I watched like a burner interview this week. That was about it. That was the only podcast or anything I watched. I watched like 20 minutes of one.
Did you watch any of these back yet? Have you watched the last one?
I watch all of them.
What do you think? And honest thoughts, even if it's something shitty. What do you think when you watch them back?
So, I try to become more aware of the way that I'm speaking. Right now, in this moment, I'm not being super conscious of the words that I'm choosing. So there might be filler words, but that's one thing I typically look for every single week. The second thing is just entertainment value. And the third thing is this is the first time that I get to really hear. This is an opportunity for me to actually, make sense of all the different perspective changes that I've had throughout the week. If they're prompted in conversation with you right now, or that just come to mind, or I feel like sharing, it helps me make sense of a lot of the thoughts and beliefs that I'm developing. So I like to actually watch that back to hear them.
Ryan, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Anthony, from chilling with you a lot this week, you're always talking about how your mindset, how you improve your mindset and like all the different strategies and techniques and angles you take at it. I think this week you had a new one, and it's kind of going back to Adonis. You want to expand a little bit on what you kind of found for yourself this week, like particularly with the alignment sort of thing?
Yeah, this is like a recurring theme every week that I've been talking about, but just like staying in character, it's like super important. Like doing the things that make you feel like you're you. So here's how I can try to make sense of it in a new way. If I'm talking to you, or if I'm talking to, a girl that I see on the street that I think's beautiful, or if I'm talking to like somebody and I'm doing business with them, if I talk to everybody differently, and I don't mean like saying different things. I'm saying like if I put on a different character in all three of those situations, two of them I'm not being authentic in. So all these personal development dudes, they talk a lot about how to build confidence. They say don't break the promises you have to yourself. But a lot of them then put the labels on that of you need to go to the gym, you need to wake up at 5 a.m., you need to do... And I think that's a great first step for people to start building confidence, is like, you know, physical habits, right? But I feel like a lot of them stop there with it. I did all that shit. I've woken up at 5 a.m. It's very easy for me to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym every day. Even when I feel like shit, it's very easy for me to do shit that I write down on paper, like little disciplines. And I realized it wasn't really moving the ball forward for me in life whatsoever. So if the way you build confidence is by not breaking the promises to yourself, it's not what you're doing, it's who you're being. So if you're in different interactions and you're being somebody else, you're subconsciously telling yourself, hey, I can't be myself in this situation right now. Don't you think that's going to destroy your confidence if you're doing that? How many times do we do that throughout the day? With little mental patterns and habits that we have, with little interactions we have, with little tiny conversations, with the ways that we text. Are we texting people differently? Like, I talk, like, I know I fucking talk with, like, a slang. I'm a fucking rap. Like, I don't know. I talk, like, very... Like, I'm a fucking Italian dude with my hair slicked back, and I fucking live in, like, the Northeast. Like, I've seen myself change my voice and my tonality and my different, like, dialect patterns and habits to, like, fit people that I talk to. And I've been doing that in text and things like that. And I'm like, yo, why are you doing all this? It's like, because I feel, you know, like I can't be myself in that situation. So I've been really becoming aware of a lot of that. Because if you can't be yourself, how can you ever become your best self? So people are going throughout their life not even being themselves and then expecting to climb the ranks of life. How can you do that? How can you expect to reach higher levels of yourself, become your best self, if you're not even being yourself at all times? So I've been just really, like, it's been a stressful process, and there's times where it's very peaceful and I'm growing through it, of becoming a better version of myself and figuring out who I actually am and aligning with that and making choices that align with that.
Nice. So we're pushing 12 minutes. Last week we pushed almost 15, 18, 20 minutes. You got cut off. But my last point for my video last week was brevity. And I think we covered a lot this week. And I think we wouldn't be doing a disservice if we ended on one final point. Unless you have more to talk about. But is there anything you'd want to continue to go on about or leave the audience off with?
Not necessarily. I think one thing I'd like to start doing is, like, adding in a little bit more novelty into these, so it's not, like, super repetitive of what it is every week. But no, I mean, I think what Ryan just asked me was, like, the main perspective changes and thoughts that occurred this week. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling, you know, there's moments where I feel super aligned. Like today, I felt that way. You know, throughout the week, I'll be coming in and out of it. And I'm trying to figure, you know, what to do. You know, earlier the week when I came out of it, it was, like, stressful. And then I realized, yo, you just got to accept it and let it go. And then I started to dive back into that. It's such a feeling. It's such a weird feeling. That's all I have on that. Yeah, do you have any other, like, questions, I guess? Like,
no, I don't have any other questions. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is if on camera, what do you mean by novelty? Like, I'm curious personally.
I think we have to get a little bit better at diving into, like, subtopics of, like, shit we're doing. Like, yo, you're into music. Like, tell us a little bit about that. Like, what's your plan with music? Like, what genre? Like, who do you listen to? Like, what are you trying to do specifically with that? Like, what do you guys have going on with business? Like, diving a little bit more into, I guess, the day-to-day, or, like, furthering just diving into those subtopics.
Yeah, maybe like a particular story, particular anecdote.
Anecdote. I think that would be cool. Yeah, shit like that.
Okay. All right, let's keep that in mind going forward into the next couple weeks. So if that was everything, we'll sign off, and then we'll see you next week.